Community Viewpoint with John Pawlak and Maria Hurst.
And welcome once again to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host. And this week we're going to have, we'll have our normal two segments, but I'd like to mention, because of the fires that are happening out in Santa Barbara in California, if you're a little bit older, like myself, have issues with breathing like myself, try to stay in as much as you can, especially with the three-digit weather. It's 111 today, so if at all possible, do your shopping late at night or early in the morning, and then stay in air conditioning as much as you can, and drink a lot of water. Make sure you drink a lot of water, but not this water, because this was bottled in California. I was reading the label. I'm reading all the labels nowadays. This came from a big box store, a chain membership store in Las Vegas, not the one that was here, but there's another big box store that they get a lot of water from California, and guess what? They're in extremely severe drought conditions, so I'll buy my water from someplace else, or I'll drink it from home. Good golly.
It works.
Yes. We have with us today a good friend of mine, former town board member, wait for it, Dr. Tom Waters. We've got a lot to talk about with veterans. I'm a veteran, I'm Air Corps member. You are Purple Heart veteran?
Yes, I am.
Vietnam veteran, we know that because it says so on his hat.
That's correct, and
Yes.
Also Air Force.
And our own hockey team is just won the Stanley Cup.
Hey,
Our old team.
Blackhawks won. We don't want to brag about that, but yes.
Yes. So anyway, lots of things have been happening that are positive lately, and there's a lot of positive things that are happening for the veterans, and a lot of issues that are up to speak about. And where would you like to start?
I'd like to start with the Always Lost exhibit. That's the one that's going to be at the museum. Mm-hmm. Always Lost is we're talking about Iraqi and Afghanistan veterans who were killed during those wars, and the exhibit that has traveled around the United States but started in northern Nevada. And that exhibit will be at our museum, the Pahrump Museum, from the 4th through the 18th of July. And we're having a speech on the exhibit and about these veterans that lost their lives on July 11th at 1 o'clock at the museum.
Very good. Who's giving that speech?
I am the speaker, and we do have one Iraqi veteran, served 2 tours in Iraq, and we thought that he was going to be the speaker, but he'll be out of town, so they asked me if I would step in for him.
Great. Another thing that happened recently, did we touch on it last time, the town board meeting? The town hall meeting?
The town hall meeting? No, I don't think we talked about that much.
All right, so folks, what came out of that?
Well, first of all, it was open to almost every question, any question that anybody had, whether it was personal or something that involved everybody. It was, I think it was very well done. I thought they were going to just, the people pick numbers if you had a question, and the numbers were 1 through whatever. So I thought they were just going to say number 1, number 2, and so on. But they pulled numbers, so you could be number 40, and you could go first, and so on. So I thought it was well done, and it was fair, and they allowed almost everybody to speak. They had a certain time limit, so the people who were not able to speak, they were able to write their questions, and they would get an answer. So very well done.
Yeah, so this is at the high school, and that was the Veterans Town Hall meeting.
Veterans Town Hall meeting held at the high school in the gym, and again, very well done by Southern Nevada Healthcare System, Veteran Healthcare System.
And they almost promised that in August they'll have a groundbreaking for the clinic.
They've promised, and we've heard from October of last year,
yes.
November of last year. Then they said no later than December, and then they said possibly January or February. Then they said definitely in June, and now they're saying definitely in August. And my comment was the fact that because we don't get updates all the time,
yes.
They don't let us know what's going on when they don't have any information. I told them that we just lost faith in their comments, and we just don't believe what they say anymore. But they did let us know that it's not in their hands. It's in the hands of the people who are letting the contracts for the VA, and because it's federal law the way they have to operate, and I understand that, but we did find out the main thing that we wanted to know is what's going to be built here. Tell us what's going to be built. And I have to say, Carl Jones, who is retired Air Force NCO, but he worked in contracting, and he asked the right question that none of us before ever asked. What is the number so that we can go and see what the people are bidding on? And once we see what they're bidding on, we know what they're going to build if they get the contract.
That's public knowledge.
It's public information. And it's something that we never asked, but Carl Jones kept asking that question, and he's going to get the answer, and I'm sure he's going to put that out for us.
Great. Good. So hopefully by August something will come of it.
Something will happen, and they're still saying after that about 18 months before we have the building up.
But it'll be great if we see some movement.
Groundbreaking. I want to see it.
Yes. Okay, next topic, next subject.
Let's talk about the Veterans Career Fair and Workshop. It's going to be July 12th.
And
That's going to be the day after my
There it is.
speech.
Okay.
The day after my speech. And that's at UNLV from 9:30 until 11:15 for the workshops. But the career fair is 11:30 till 3 p.m. And it's at the Student Union Ballroom. And they're going to have some employers there. And I think it's going to be something that all veterans should probably go out and look at. If you need a job, if you want a job, if you know somebody that wants a job, this Veterans Career Fair and Workshop should be perfect.
I've applied to go there too at my elderly age, but what I'm going there for too is to get information to bring back also and make some eye contact, make some
That's
contact with
perfect.
the folks over there. So,
And it says here too, employers from across the valley will be in attendance. So you're going to have all the employers there, and again, something for veterans, I think is fantastic.
because we have the career fairs at the coalition
Right.
in a quarterly time slot. So, and we suggest that veterans come there. So this would be a good, hey, come on over to
Absolutely.
Nye County type, asking them to do that. So we'll see what becomes of that. What else is coming up?
Well, we have the 4th of July parade, and I'm always very proud to say that the VFW Post, they set up the pancake breakfast.
Yes.
And they do a good job on that. And Butch Boraski, Commissioner Butch Boraski, is the one who lines up all the events, all the people who are participating in the parade. That's been outstanding every year, getting
Right.
bigger.
Right, and it's not the easiest thing to do either.
It's not the easiest.
Me first. No. So there's a definite a lineup, and then some people just, no, I was there first. Yeah, okay. So I remember what he went through last year. Thank God he doesn't have a lot of hair to pull out.
Well, I know one thing that he was talking about is a lot of churches are going to be involved this year.
Yes.
We've had churches involved before, but it was more low key. And so a lot of our churches are definitely stepping up, and they're going to have events with banners and everything else in the parade.
Great. And so that's July 4th. You can call Butch. We don't have that up here, but 775-209-3100, or Dan Shinhofen, our commissioner from the 5th District, I think, 775-513-2266 to find out more information. And if you have a float, the entry fee is $25, and that all goes to charity.
Let me add one other thing on that, because it's something that Butch Boraski was really working hard on, and that's getting the Air Force to fly over at the beginning of the parade. And he put a lot of effort into it, along with Tom Vick, the commander of the VFW. They put a lot of time into it. We went as far as we could, but we did get response from the Air Force that because of the cost of fuel and the fact that they're cutting back and trying to reduce their costs, they would not be able to do it for us this year. But I really believe that we've broken the code, and we know how to apply next year, and we should get a little bit further next year. So I'm going to just tell Butch Boraski, don't give up.
Right.
We can get this done.
Great. Hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler by that time, at least 10 degrees. So that's, God, we've covered a lot already. And then I was looking at the Plum Valley Times on Wednesday the 24th. This is called Community Viewpoint. Wait a minute, they have their own Community Viewpoint. And guess what? You're on their Community Viewpoint also. So you had you were like a guest writer on there, special to the Pahrump Valley Times, and it says, "Stop blaming our commissioners for problems in Pahrump." So what did you mean by that?
Well, you know, I get a lot of people that talk to me as a former town board member, as a person that's just involved in our community, mostly with veterans, but also with the churches and so on. And they talk to me about the things that the commissioners are not doing. They should do this. They're not doing this right. The town is different than the county and so on. And I'm saying, why are you blaming the commissioners? The commissioners didn't put this on themselves. The people voted to do this. Now, yes, it was 50.8%, and it was a difference of only 231 votes out of, 14,000 votes. So 231 votes made the difference. Also, I mentioned before that right after the election, many people said, look, I didn't understand the question, and so we put that behind us. It was 231 votes, and 50% plus one vote is enough to put us where we are today. And that's what I said in the article. The main thing is, what we need to do is support our commissioners to let them know what they need to do and how they need to do it without just criticizing them. They did not ask to take over the town of Pahrump. That was forced on them. They had never run a town the size of Pahrump. I don't think anybody has, because most locations with the population of Pahrump are already incorporated. They're cities. So to have an unincorporated town run by commissioners, this is something unprecedented in the state of Nevada.
So speak to your commissioner, call him up or her up. What's the worst that can happen? We can't have a vote to get rid of the commissioners, right?
Well, I don't think they should vote to do that, because the vote was so close.
Right.
And I'd like to go ahead and find out those people who said that, well, I voted for it, but I really didn't want to vote for it, or I made a mistake in voting for it. Let's find out for sure. Let's either validate the 50.8% by putting it back on the ballot for 2016. Put it on the ballot, let the people vote, and make a definitive determination. If it wins again, that's what the people want. If it doesn't win, then it goes back to local government. And the local government should be local by the local people, not the county. I've said that from day one, and I'll always say that.
Okay, so stay tuned, see what happens in
Absolutely.
2016. We'll be here.
Now, I want to add, too, that as I stated, even if we go back to the town board and elect the town board, there are problems ahead, and I'll talk about those in the future.
All right, stay tuned for the next segment with Dr. Waters. Bye.